everyone! This is Korath Landwalker, and this afternoon we have a couple of exciting hours, or maybe not quite exciting hours, of Star Citizen. Today, looks like I didn't time that quite right, did I? Close the doors on me. As I was saying, I am presently at the cargo deck of Everest Harbor, because there's a little something I want to take care of before I get into the meat of the day. Hey, Cap, how's life treating you on your end of the monitor? I found myself in a situation where I discovered that somehow I had lost all of my multi-tools. So I am trying to get some back. Here we are. Just buy 5 of those, and we'll see if I need any of the attachments. Yeah, I literally thought of this like maybe 5 seconds before I went live on stream. It's like, oops. Nobody's perfect. Okay, there's the multi-tools. So we're going to equip that. And I do still have my tractor beam attachment. That's great. I could probably use a few more. And speaking of Cap, it looks like, even though I have my multi-glass in front of me, he is standing right in front of me. There we go. Yep, there he is in his whatever kind of armor that is. Looks like one of those heavier armor sets. You know, you need an emote that says strike a pose. Just another one of those emotes that the game could use. I'm going to grab a couple of the attachments here for tractor beaming. I don't really need to buy any oxy cutters because they don't actually do anything right now. It's an occupational hazard. Okay. And it seems kind of appropriate that I am here on the cargo deck at the moment. Because today, we're going to step back from the all-encompassing violence that tends to inhabit my streams, where I'm hunting down bounties and shooting things and getting blown up myself repeatedly. We are going to instead indulge in a bit of the more industrial side of the game. And we're going to do this by trade. Now, trading kind of has 2 aspects, or I guess 2 different parts to it. One part is done through the Mobi-Glass. You get your Mobi-Glass out, you open up your contracts manager, and you'll see that you have a number of these delivery missions. Usually there'll be 8,000 to deliver 3 packages to a location, or go to a location to pick up 3 packages and deliver them to 3 different locations. Some of them will have this quantum-sensitive cargo. Now, what this means, now you'll see that they're substantially better paying. They're 20,000 as opposed to 8,000. But the trade-off here is that you can't use your quantum travel to get to the destination. So, in other words, for example, this one has a pickup from HDMS Pinewood on Hurston to HDMS Thetis on Hurston. And you can't simply go into orbit and quantum jump to Thetis. You have to actually go there on your main thrusters the whole trip. So, as far as credits for time, I'm not sure how it works out. There's also, if you go into the search area, a similar kind of mission, these Zeta Prolinide salvage claims, which is basically another kind of delivery missions. The trick on these are, well, they're time limited. Meaning you only have a certain amount of time to pick them up and take them to the destination. And you'll carefully note that it's not actually doing a very good job on telling you where it has to go. Oh, here we go. reclamation disposal on Orinth than Hurston. And that used to be a lot harder because R&D Orinth used to have no quantum beacon. But it's there now, so that's one aspect of trade. However, I'm more interested in a different aspect of trade today, and this is what you graduate into when you're tired of doing the delivery missions, being your UPS truck. You can start trying to do some serious large-scale cargo hauling. And I haven't really had a chance to show that off over the last few weeks because, well, we had the Invictus Flight Week. Then we had my rather work on getting my Extreme Risk Threat license. And then we had the Alien Week last week. So I've had to put this off for a bit. But now we can try something a little more, maybe not relaxing exactly. This side's a little crowded over here. Everybody's going in here. I mean, I think that Everest may not be the best place to be. We are going to take a lift off of the Crusader C2 Hercules Starlifter. Because, you know, if you're going to get large scale, you might as well get really large scale. And right now, C2 is the largest scale you can work with. If you're just starting out in the game, you'll probably be flying something like an Aurora, or an Avenger Titan, or maybe one of the 100 I series. Something with... Oh, don't tell me you can't retrieve that. Let's see, let's take a look around. Let's make sure it's not lying to me. Nope, there it is, Hangar 4. Haha. Never believe them when they tell you they can't get it, because they may be lying. In any event, they tend to have the previously aforementioned ships, the starter ships, they tend to have small cargo space. But eventually, if you can get roughly 1.5 million credits, by hook by crook, you can usually afford one of the mid-sized freight haulers, somewhere between 60 to maybe 120 standard cargo units. This can be anything from the Freelancer to the Freelancer Max, or, you know, if you get really, really, really desperate, you can go with one of the Drake Cutlass Black. That's really desperate, though. All those can carry a modest amount of cargo. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, 66 to 120 is respectable. And when I say 120, I'm looking at the Freelancer Max. And if you decide that cargo hauling is what you really want to do, then you'll look at some of the big boys. You might look at the Carrack, which has a fairly large cargo capacity. You might look at the Drake Caterpillar, which was, until very recently, the king of cargo capacity. And you can go with this ship. This, or its older brother, the M2 Hercules, which is the military variant. Now, this currently holds, putting it mildly, a heap of cargo. We're going to stop over at the cargo deck on our way out here, so I can properly help you appreciate the scale. This is the Hercules cargo deck. Now I'm going to, instead of doing my running, we're going to walk kind of normally to get a proper sense of scale on just how big this is. Oh, I see they're having all sorts of fun at Holisar right now. Just another reason why I don't want to be in a Holisar. This cargo bay is large enough to handle 3 Nova tanks, or 2 ballistas. It can handle multiple Ursa rovers, huge amounts of cyclones, and an ungodly amount of hover bikes or Grey Cat PTV buggies. It can certainly handle lots of gray cat rocks. That is, in fact, what this ship is designed to do. Now I'm going to take the ladder instead of the elevator to get to the next floor. The upper deck here. And we'll head up to the pilot's seat. Mainly because I want to make sure I get out of here before the harbor masters decide, hey, get out. We can do a full tour later. As I'm getting this stuff all prepped up, I do want to toss off a minor programming note. I will not be streaming next Saturday. I have a number of work-related stuff that I need to deal with, and that will literally take me all day on Saturday. However, there is a possibility that I will instead do the stream on Sunday instead. Depends on where things are at. Playing it by ear, but I just wanted to mention that up top. Yeah, see that, I see that shocked face, Cap. But you know, hey, these things happen, and I gotta do stuff in order for me to afford starships. So that's a part of the thing I gotta do. Now, cargo hauling is not as obvious a way of doing things as the delivery missions. Delivery missions will hold your hand. They tell you what do they want to deliver, how they want it delivered, when they want it delivered, you know, all that good stuff. For cargo hauling, however, that's a little bit more self-directed. Okay, let's go back to target stats here. They require you to actually go out, find a location, find out what they sell, load up on what they sell, go to a destination that'll buy it, and hope that they buy it for more than that you paid for. So we are going to do a little bit of a demonstration here by going over to one of the favorite places in the Hurston system, HDMS Lathan. Lathan and Bezdek used to be the place to go for cargo haulers, especially during a period when there was a trade bug going on. Because they had effectively bottomless amounts of high-end goods. Why is my, why are we obstructed? Ah, there we go.
Quantum travel engaged.
And a bottomless pit of supply included the most valuable material currently in the game.
Quantum travel.
Let's take a look at our ship for a moment. Oh, I seem to have pulled along somebody's little ship there. Probably Cap, but I can't prove it. Nope, it's not Cap, actually. Now they got me curious. Oh, looks like they jumped away. Well, this could make life entertaining shortly. As I was saying, once upon a time, Lathan and the opposite side outpost, Bezdek, had these bottomless supplies of laranite, most valuable material in the game. But those taps got shut off during a patch, and things have been never quite the same on that. There is a supply and demand in the game, but it's not a very well balanced supply and demand right now. The upshot being, it's very hard to get laranite these days.
Quantum travel complete.
Now, some of the hazards of going to places like this is the fact that the atmosphere and the ground often look roughly the same color, and making life even more entertaining, it's difficult to read my altimeter. That means I'm dropping down like a stone, well, not quite like a stone, and can't see where the ground is. Luckily, third-person view is kind of helpful in that respect. And you can get a decent look at what you've got to play with here. You've got a back turret. You know, I don't think I've ever really looked to find out where you get in on that. I mean, it's obviously on the top deck, but I've never really looked to see where it's physically located. I should do that. It does have the Crusader Industries design language here. I mean, it looks like it. Fiendy! Hey, how are you doing? How's life on your end of the monitor? We are indeed in space. Or at the very least, we are currently above a moon. The moon of Ariel. We're going to be doing a little bit of cargo hauling today in one of my recent ships, the C2 Hercules Starlifter. And it's big. Space is equal to everything that is not Earth. I can work with that. I can definitely work with that. The Starlifter does have some armament to help deal with little accidents like pirates. I've got a pair of pretty good-sized Gatlings up front. But this ship is really not designed for combat. If you want a combat hauler, the M2 Hercules is the way to go, because again, that's the military variant. That one has more turrets, it's theoretically got more armor, which may or may not one day actually be in the game. Let's see, is there anybody actually up there? Oh, somebody is doing some trading in this tiny little Avenger Titan, probably. Oh, I hope he's not sitting on the big landing pad, because I'm going to be very offended. We'll drop the landing gear. We'll cut the forward thrust a bit so that I can...
Landing gear down.
Well, let me rephrase that. I'm taking manual control over my forward thrust. I am more than happy to let that fellow load up on all the high-end materials he wants, because an Avenger Titan is not going to hold a lot of cargo. Certainly not in comparison to what this baby's carrying. Well, can't carry. That's okay, though, because there is absolutely nowhere near enough Laranites in this outpost to fill up this ship. It is, in fact, nowhere near what it's going to require to fill up this ship. Okay, let's do a quick... yeah, I want to make sure that I'm landing properly on here.
Landing complete. Launch complete.
Okay, I think I'm on the ground. You'll notice that the landing gear is pretty central, which means it does kind of have a habit of possibly bobbing up and down with the front end, with the pitch. Or is that the yaw? I can never get that straight. We'll kill the engines. Now that we're here, let's take a quick walk around the top deck here. Well, not necessarily a walk, because, you know, I want to move around a bit. In this area, we've got a life pod and a suit locker, neither of which actually do what they're supposed to do yet. Over here, we have, I believe these are the weapon lockers. Yeah, so you'll be able to theoretically throw weapons in these racks, and they will theoretically persist. That's an open question right now, but I'm told that the next big patch, expected probably mid-July, I would predict, that all weapon racks will be persisting, so it will be interesting to see whether or not they actually do. Alright, we've got basically two hallways here. We'll take the left hallway first. We've got the storage lockers, some of which hold components, some of which hold inventory stuff. Over here we have the habitation area. You've got your storage lockers. One day there'll be a purpose behind them. Pair of bunks. Sitting areas. Nothing fancy. Oh, and most importantly, a pair of restrooms. One on each side. Now, if you're flying the M2 here, Hercules, I think there will be I think there's a third bunk up here. It looks like it's designed for it. because that can hold 3 people, because it has an extra turret, so you need to have 3 people. Moving out the other side. Anytime now. There we go. If we go across the main line of the ship, we can go into the recreation area. And you've got your little table and books and kitchenette over here. One day this will be a working espresso maker. One day. Sofa, TV, non-functional, of course. Now, on the M2 Hercules, this is more militarily designed. It's basically an area where they'll have dropship seats, I guess, for lack of a better phrase, where you'll have troops sitting there and you'll be able to carry them into combat, which is the whole point of having the M2. Going into combat, unloading tanks and stuff, and generally making life really miserable for anyone who wants to be bad. Okay, back here we have component bays. Oh, you know what? That turret's probably a remote turret. I should have realized that right off the bat. The turret I was seeing in the back that I was trying to figure where you'd sit. You'd sit in the co-pilot seat up front. Ugh. This is what happens when I don't do my proper due diligence when I'm fiddling around with the screen. Okay, let's go back over here to the elevator. Dun, 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 dun. And there we go. And we're going to go back down to the lower deck, because there are a couple other things I wanted to point out here that I wasn't able to point out earlier. Now again, this particular deck is huge. We will be loading heaps of cargo in here. Now, unlike the other offering from Crusader Industries, there are no secret compartments, no hidden ventilation underneath. What you see is what you get. Now, it is worth noting, however, that unlike many starships out there, we have not one, but 2 exit ramps. We'll let that one go. And we'll open up the one up front. So if you want to load in, say, various vehicles, you will be able to load them in from either direction. And in some cases this is desirable because, well, you can see that the width over here is kind of interrupted by elevator cage. Great for driving stunts too. You aren't kidding. There are people who have basically blown through the back ramp and out the front ramp, and not just with ground vehicles. There are a number of small vehicles for space, such as the uh-oh. Why am I bouncing? Okay, I will not panic. I will not panic. I thought I was secure on the ground, but maybe I'm not as secure as I like to think. Okay, I see the Avenger Titan that was here has already left. That's good. It reduces the odds of somebody trying to hijack the ship while I have both ramps sitting there open. Which brings us to the first part of any cargo hauler's visit. Just about any outpost that has stuff to haul away has a storage area. The game still struggles with the whole how do physics works thing. Yeah, there are some weak points. Remind me to tell you one day at the time where I had a very huge ship overturn on me because of wind. I was outside at the time. It was not pretty. I really wish I'd screenshotted that at the time because That would have been my crashed image right there. In every storage area, yeah, serious wind, you aren't kidding. I mean, it wasn't blowing me around at all, but my ship, not so good. You will find a trading and shipping console in the storage building, and you will select on the left what you want to load up, and you'll see all sorts of possibilities of things you can buy. Now, as you can see, Laranite is the big seller here, 27 UEC per unit. You'll also see that I've managed to fill out exactly 9 standard cargo units. For comparison, the Hercules can carry 696. Clearly, I'm not going to be making a whole lot on Laranite on this trip. That's okay. That's okay. Now, next up, the next most pricey thing here is titanium. Titanium looks like it could be worth something. Other traders know this too. At least it refills a little faster. 134 up. Come on, stick here. 134 standard cargo units. Yeah, I need to wait for a few server checks. You're not kidding. Wind advisory. Gusts of up to 4,000 miles per hour. Yeah, that's probably pushing it, but probably not as much as I'd like to think. Did they actually put the cargo in? They did not. That's probably for the best of it, because that means I didn't get... Oh, maybe not. There we go. It actually put it in. Okay, next step. Tungsten. Can we get more of that? Yes, I can fill up the rest of my ship with tungsten. Yeah, the problem with the server ticks thing is that the Laranite is not going to fill up anywhere near that fast. And while there are multiple servers of 50 people floating around here, they're all sharing the same database, which means every server that has HDMS Lathin on it is having traders sucking the Laranite right out of it. That's rough. But that's okay, though, because, you know, I'm okay with the smaller traders like the freelancers and the carcasses and other relatively small cargo ships buying the high-value stuff, because, you know, they've got to make the profit and be able to earn bigger and better ships. Okay, my next trick is getting on board the ramp without having something horrible happen to me, which has happened. Okay, I am still alive, and as you can see, my ship is now nicely loaded up in cargo. Let's close that door. And it's worth watching the front cargo because, you know, it has those big bay doors too. It's kind of neat to watch. The ramp gets pulled in. Bay doors close up. Sealed. And take a look at all these cargo boxes. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of cargo. And I passed up the button to close this thing up, didn't I? Yes, I did. My observation skill real good. And that ramp is just a ramp, so nothing fancy about that except, you know, being big. So, now that you have all that cargo with a significant amount of credits put in behind it, the question now becomes, what's it good for? The answer, of course, is obvious. It's good for selling. Now, how good for selling? That's a bit of a different question. The laws of supply and demand are really out of whack lately, so profit margins are not nearly as good as you might like. You're basically risking a huge amount of credits for a small amount of profit. On the other hand, and this is important, the risk is relatively minimal. I mean,
Engines
the biggest
full.
risk is basically the ever-dreaded 30K server crashes. Let's do a takeoff from here. VTOL. Landing gear up. Forward momentum. Up. Well, forward momentum should be best handled if I'm facing up as opposed to down. That would be inconvenient. Like, oh my god, I want to crash into the ground. Inconvenient. Okay, back to the whole supply-demand thing. Profit margins aren't going to be great, but it does have safety in mind. You don't have to worry about being shot down usually. There are some player pirates out there who do get their jollies out of this sort of thing, but I have not encountered nearly as many of them as you might expect. And certainly not since the trading nerfs that hammered the whole trade as high profit sort of thing went away. Now, you can sometimes find outposts that will buy the materials that you want, but usually your safest bet is going to a major trade hub, which conveniently is a major landing zone. In this case, Lorville is going to be the way to go. Now, you can also do these deliveries over at New Babbage on the planet of Microtech, or you can do it at Area 18 on the world of Arccore. As of right now, you can't really get away with it in Crusader. Grim Hex will buy some stuff, but they're a little more picky. And Port Olisar is not the best for that sort of thing. However, with the next big patch, again, likely to show up sometime in mid-July, the new landing zone of Orison will come in at Crusader. And I expect that they will have a major trade division as well. And I am really looking forward to that because Orison is basically Star Citizen's version of Cloud City.
Engage.
Well, in as much as the fact that it is a city and it will be in a gas giant. It doesn't actually look anything like Cloud City. But I've seen pictures. I've seen videos. I mean, developer videos. I haven't seen in-game videos yet. As I understand it, the next big patch is on Evocati stage right now on the public test universe, which means a very, very, very select group of people are able to test the new patch and see all the good stuff. They are, however, under a non-disclosure agreement, which means theoretically horrible things will happen if they get caught sharing this information. That said, this information is very regularly managed to be shared anyway. So take what you will off the NDA, but you won't be seeing any streaming for that stuff, at least until the Wave 1 folk get to play in the public test universe. I'm not expecting that to happen until maybe July 4th weekend? Is July 4th a weekend this year? I can't actually remember. This is what senility will do for you. You'll notice that I am moving at 129 meters a second. This is a big ship. It has a low SCM speed, standard combat maneuver. I do still love the looks of the game. It's a very pretty game. Probably look even more impressive if I had a seriously kick-ass graphics card, but mine does okay. Now the good news is, even though the SCM is 128, I can bump that speed up a bit faster. The atmosphere in Hurston is fairly thick, but it's not horrible. And the Starlifter is, strangely enough, almost aerodynamic. I mean, here's its approach profile. It ain't bad. And I'm going to get this thing set up like this now because I'm going to need the third-person view to land this thing. Now, one rumor that I've heard, and I'm hoping it's true, is that they have fixed the landing areas so that large ships will be able to auto-land relatively normally as opposed to colliding into walls. So I'm hoping that will be the case. May all my guesses be right.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
And there's my landing bay, which is not where I wanted it to be. So the next question is, will the hangar doors stay open long enough for me to land? I've had issues with the Everest Harbor masters, but perhaps the ones operating the hangar doors here will be something approaching competent. Okay, and now we're at that third-person view so I can see where I'm going here. It is very tricky to land a large ship in a hangar, so for now, I'm still doing third-person view to land, and even then, sometimes I ain't perfect. Like now, for example. Okay, I'm clear of the doors, but I'm not level. In fact, I'm not entirely sure I'm even in the hangar. There we are. Gently, gently.
Landing complete.
Landing complete. Have a pleasant stay.
That's always what I like to see. Oh, I already had the headlights off.
Engine systems off.
So, you've got this really huge amount of cargo loaded up. And you might want to say, you might want to get rid of it. I mean, after all, cargo in a ship is worth nothing. In fact, it's costing you because it costs you money to buy it. So it is in your best interest to get it sold off as soon as possible. Now, the good news is, once you've landed at a major center here, your cargo is safe. We could have a server crash right now. The cargo is still in the ship. Everything is peachy keen. And we'll go right down past these guys and right out of the ship. No need to take the ramp this time. We're just going to take the elevator and I'll send it back up so that I don't have to worry about somebody trying to be clever. It would be challenging since I don't think they can get the hangar doors open, but better safe than sorry. Hercules is a pretty big ship. Being able to transport vehicles in it is something that's probably best done with friends. And there's a reason for this. You can own a whole bunch of ground vehicles. And you might think, hey, it would be nice and convenient to load them all on the Starlifter and take them to whatever race course, for example, you might want to go. Or maybe a combat theater. There are people who, after all, entire orgs that do 25 on 25 combat operations that they set up and do some of the more military-oriented orgs. And I've seen some of those videos and streams, and they're pretty cool. I could never handle that because I don't have any military discipline whatsoever. But they're still cool to watch. And they would be able to deliver tanks and ballistas and other fighting variants in the Starlifter. So a single person might have multiple vehicles that he could, theoretically loan out. Unfortunately, there is a problem. And the problem has to do with, well, program code. You see, right now, you can only have, I think, 3 spawnables out at once per player. So I could spawn 2 vehicles and the Starlifter, but I couldn't spawn a 3rd vehicle. Something would then despawn. And if you were really, really, really unlucky, it would be the Starlifter, which would probably also take away the vehicles inside. Now you'll notice here at Lorville, we've got a subway to Metro Center, but we're interested in the Central Business District. Just missed a train. I shouldn't have shown off. That'll teach me. Any rate, this is the Commerce Line. This will take us to the Hurston Dynamics building. You may have noticed that really big building as we were approaching. That's the district. I would love to get really close in a ship to show you just how big that building is, but I'm reasonably sure autopilot would kick in and force me away from it, so we wouldn't really be able to get a good comparison. I think it says something, however, that you can see it from low orbit. That says something about its size. You can be over 100 kilometers away, and you'd still be able to see very distinctly the Hurston Dynamics building. It's huge.
Trespassing or attempting to trespass on train tracks is a serious and dangerous offense.
There we go.
Now arriving. Next stop.
Now, sometimes on the Lorville trains, there's a bug that occasionally happens where you start kind of flickering back and forth. It doesn't seem to be happening right now, so I seem to have gotten lucky. But everything would be flickering. Get back. First person view, darn it. I mean, I would even see the interface up in the upper right hand corner here where it has the Armistice Zone symbol, that bullet with the circle slash. That would be flickering. Everything inside would be flickering. If there were other passengers, they would be flickering. But I seem to have gotten lucky and it's not happening here. That's good. Now, it is a bit of a trip, but we should be closing in on the Hurston Dynamics building. You really don't have a great view out of here. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not great. And that's the building up ahead now. We'll be exiting on the left. Now arriving.
Please watch your step when disembarking the train.
All right, we will go past the extremely humble displays of wealth being demonstrated by the Hurston family. Because, you know, nothing says subtle like dozens of feet high statues of your figure, for lack of a better phrase, your visage, your eminence. There we go. Yeah, here we go. The Archibald Hurston Memorial Hall. Because if there's one thing that the folks at Hurston are, it's subtle. The foundations I lay are so we may all stand higher. He didn't mean the workers at Hurston, however, since they tend to be, you know, let's just think Chinese sweatshops and leave it at that. Now over here we have the trading area, and this is the endpoint of any cargo, well, one of the endpoints of any cargo delivery. I mean, you could look for an outpost that'll purchase the cargo, but they probably won't buy it in the same quantities that the major landing zones will. So instead of hitting buy, I will hit to sell, and I will select the Hercules. and I will start offloading this stuff, including my small profit for the Laranite. Any day now. There we go. Our modest amount of titanium. And you can see I was making about maybe close to 400,000 on this. Maybe 350,000 total on this trip. Let me rephrase that. The value of the cargo is 350,000. I did not make 350,000. I wasn't paying that close attention to my starting funds, but I'm reasonably sure that the amount I'm ending up with here is more than what I started with. And that is basically the... thank you. That is basically the end goal of any cargo haul. You want to end up with more money than you started with. Ideally, you would end up with a lot more than what you started with. But that's not always the case. Okay. Now let's throw another wrinkle in. If you go to the Moby class, you will notice that you have a tab here that's listed as Journal. If you click on it, you will note that somewhere in here you have an option that says Commodity Price Alerts. And what this will do for a very limited number of items is it will show you the understock and overstock prices at various locations. Now, during the Invictus Flight Week, it was a lot more exciting. You had fireworks, you had AV equipment, you had souvenirs. It was a golden week and a half for the traders in the game. Unfortunately, now that the event is over, all we're left with is processed food and distilled spirits. And profit margins are not what you would call great. Basically, if you see an overstock, those are the areas you want to buy from. If you see an understock, those are the places you want to sell to. And you can see that, for example, the processed food here, you got a sell price of 1.2 per unit, and you can sell for 1.5. You can see that we are not exactly talking about huge profit margins here. So you're basically looking to make it up in volume. Adding insult to injury, you see a bunch of understock for distilled spirits, but there is nobody who is giving you an overstock list of distilled spirits. Now, this does not mean that you can't buy distilled spirits anywhere. It doesn't. And there are tools on the web you can use to find where you want to buy distilled spirits. I don't know what the price tags on them are these days. I haven't been looking. You can find them on the web if you want to get into serious trading. But we're going to set that aside right now because I did speak of the fact that you could throw a whole bunch of vehicles in a Hercules. I kind of think I want to demonstrate this. So, it is back to the subway. Incidentally, the other side of the building here is the Hurston Dynamics Showcase, where they show off, well, showing off stuff like this. Hurston Dynamics made its money off of guns. Big guns. The kind of guns you put on ships. Big ships. They're anything but subtle. And that is one of the reasons why they have enough money to purchase a planet outright, like they did for Hurston. Didn't think it was a coincidence that Hurston Dynamics and Hurston shared the same name, right? No coincidence at all. Missed the train again. I'm trying not to take it personally. But the next train's practically right here. Back to the spaceport, and we'll be back to the Starlifter, And I don't know where we'll do the vehicle test run. Play it by ear. The only thing I'm certain of is I want to make sure that it happens where there's daylight. Because doing this in the middle of the night, I'd rather not. Yeah, like I said, the view from the subway train is not great. And really calling it a subway train really isn't 100% accurate, since there is almost no point where we go underground. So I really should just call this a railway. And you have all these things getting in the way of any decent view. Hey, they can't all be picturesque. That's why I like going on the tram at Babbage or the buses at Area 18 a lot better. More of a view. And I've seen what they plan to use to get people around at Orison when it comes out, and I'm hoping that that will be pleasant. But I have to wait at least another month for that one. Technically, it's the Q2 release, but historically speaking, they have never gotten a publish out just after the quarter. It usually takes a couple extra weeks at least. So that's why I'm targeting mid-July, is my prediction. The patch really got castrated too from the roadmap. Now, to be fair, the roadmap is always a moving target. Stuff move in, stuff move on. And there was a lot going on over the last couple of months. Still, it was rough. Alright. Hercules Starlifter. Pull it back out. Now, I do feel compelled to mention that the Starlifter is, at the moment, a ship that you cannot acquire with in-game credits. New ships usually are... Where did the elevators go? Okay, that one was even more disturbing. Okay, we seem to have a technical problem with the elevators here at Loreville. I hope this doesn't mean we're having a server crash on deck. Mr. Zyke, hello, welcome to my stream. How are you today on your end of the monitor? This facility has worked 0 days without an incident. Yeah, I bet. We seem to be having a minor technical problem with Loreville. Specifically, we have elevators that are like windows into another reality. Doing good, excellent. I am doing this Star Citizen stream, fiddling around with cargo hauling. Or, as I was getting ready to show off, the ability of the Starlifters to move vehicles around. But this was kind of predicated on me being able to actually use the elevators. But the elevator buttons are gone, the elevator doors are gone, they're leading out into the pitch black. Alright, think about getting on to do some bounty hunting. Hey, bounty hunting is where it's... Oh, did the doors come back? The doors came back. Oh, how about that? I took my eyes off them for a minute and they came back. Awesome. Yeah, bounty hunting right now is the way to make money in the game. Hangar 5. Let's hope the hangar didn't go away. Cargo hauling is not what it used to be as far as making huge amounts of credits. Made 500,000 last night. Yeah, that's a pretty good run. Were you running VHRTs or ERTs? I'm just kind of curious. VHRTs, yeah, those are the ones I tend to do. I mean, I can do an ERT, but I'm not sure that the length of time it takes me to take out the bad guys there really justifies the amount of credits I'm making above doing the VHRTs. Running in a Talon. That'll do it. Talons are one of the top two choices of light fighters in the game right now. The other one is a... going to do it in a hammerhead for some friends today. Now that's a fun experience. I can tell you that multi-crewing in a ship like a hammerhead or a Carrack with all those turrets, it's great fun. At least ways I've had fun doing that kind of thing in the past. Alright. Hopefully I can get this thing off the ground before folks at the hangar decide to try storing the ship. I am a big fan of the Crusader ships. I like the design language, I like their interiors. I keep thinking about buying one of the Ares ship fighters that'll be coming out later this year, but I keep finding reasons not to. Sooner or later, though, I suspect I'll crack. But, as Aragorn would say, it is not this day.
You are clear to launch.
Okay, I want to make sure where the doors are opening, so I don't have to guess. I don't really have a very good view looking up from the pilot seat in the Hercules. The windshield has been compared with that of the Freelancer, and there are a lot of people who aren't thrilled with the way the Freelancer viewport is. You know, I get that, but I don't really have a problem with it. Except at moments like this where, you know, I'm not 100% sure I trust the harbor masters to close the doors at the times they should. Okay, VTOL's up, landing gear up.
Landing gear up.
And the goal here is to get myself to the magic 9-kilometer mark.
Thank you. And please, Mrs. Yu.
Because at that point I can use my quantum drive and go somewhere that isn't here. Somewhere that isn't here, and as a bonus has... Now, what is Cap doing at the security depot? I think Cap was being a bad person again. Let's see... Reclamation disposal? No. Adlai, security outpost. Calthrop, stay out. Okay, I'll obey the stay out order. Stanhope. Stanhope feels like a good place to go. I think they have vehicle pads there. And it's the vehicle pads I want right now. Let's kill my forward momentum a bit. I don't want to accidentally start dropping below the 9-kilometer mark when I'm trying to go to the location. And here we go.
Quantum travel engaged.
Oh, please don't let me have mistaken how far I have to go on here. The whole point is to be on the light side of the planet, and... yeah, I may have blown it here. I think we're coming to sunset. I need a compass.
Quantum travel complete.
But that said, I'm heading west on the map, so that means... That's a good point. Heading west on the map. Technically speaking, this isn't sunset. This is dawn. I can live with dawn. Get my route set so I can see where my target destination is. Engines back on. I can live with it being dawn. Then we have light coming up. I'm going to jump my speed up a bit, and I'm paying very close attention to that altimeter because I do not want to be going too fast that I can't slow down before I do something horrible like make a crater on the planet. And seeing that this is a Hercules, it would be a pretty significant sized crater. I exaggerate slightly because you really can't alter the face of the planet. It's a kick to think that it might be possible one day. Highly doubtful, but I'm easily amused. What I should have checked to see was whether or not this facility had a large landing pad. I mean, strictly speaking, I don't need a landing pad, but it would make life a lot easier. Alright, slow it down. Let's put on my headlamp there. And it does look like they have a large landing pad there. It also looks like I'm going to have to do a little bit of finessing here. Before I do land, however, I want to make sure... Yes, it does have the Platinum Bay vehicle retrieval. And it's even in a good spot, too. Drop the landing gear. Turn on the VTOLs. Now, I'm not entirely sure the VTOLs on the Hercules actually do anything. I mean, if you look at these things, I'm going to bring them back up. Yeah, I guess they do have VTOL engines on it. Okay, so I can justify that. I never actually looked, so... Now let's drop that speed down. Hey, Legend, I see you, in-game. How are you doing? I have no idea if you're actually listening to the stream or not, so... Let's see about setting down. Level up. Well, level out. Let's make sure I'm... Yeah, move myself up. This is why third person is so important sometimes. And down.
Landing complete.
No, it's not. I'm a horrible human being.
Engines off.
Engines off. Let's make sure that I'm actually touched down. Oh, looks like everything's on the ground. Let's hope. Okay, let's see. I am going to save myself some trouble, and I'm going to open up the exterior from here. There are an awful lot of switches on here. There we go. Eventually, every one of these switches will work in the game. So he was at a security outpost. Now, hopefully, when I open the exterior, it actually, open up the ramps. Open. It also would have opened the elevator, but since I need the elevator anyway... And we're going to spawn a couple of vehicles. Now, I would love to say that was one of the ones I would spawn in would be the Nova tank. I don't have the Nova tank. So I need to make do with the next best things. Ah, and it didn't open the ramps. Grumble, grumble, grumble. Luckily, you can open the ramps from outside. Oh, you can open that ramp from the outside. I don't think I've actually tried opening this. Yeah, looks like you can. I just gotta position myself so I can actually hit the button. There we go. You guys, do your thing. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this on Hurston is because I don't have to worry about extreme temperatures. I don't have to worry about overwhelming heat. I don't have to worry about freezing cold. I do have to worry about standard gravity, but you know, you can't have everything. Now, the Platinum Bay, I can retrieve ground vehicles. So let us start with the biggest I have available, an Anvil Ballista, which you can buy in-game, which is exactly why I have one. The Ballista is slightly longer than the tank, I think. It's marginal, but it's there. And you can see it's a pretty good sized vehicle. Got those big anti-aircraft missiles on there. It is designed to make life miserable for any approaching starship. It's a good area denial sort of thing. We'll go up front to the driver's seat. And turn everything on. Now, I like to do the ground vehicle driving from third-person view. It's not exactly what you would call a fast-turning vehicle. In fact, it is anything but fast-turning. The Ballista, I think, is going to see a lot more use now that we have the Starlifters in play, because until now, well, until approximately now, you'd spawn them at these places, but you wouldn't be able to put them anywhere. And a lot of the places that you spawn them, they have armistice zones. And that means you can't use the weapons. And that kind of makes them iffy as far as usefulness. But now that you have a Starlifter that is capable of fitting not just one, but 2 ballistas. Okay, let me see. Am I in far enough? I can move up a little more. So, right now, I have a ballista available in my Starlifter that I can take anywhere, drop it off, where I can potentially make someone's life a living hell. Or alternatively, if I want to, say, go to a bunker mission, I'd like to see those turrets take out a ballista. But you can see I have all this room still to work with. Hey, Legend, I see you've hit the stream. How are you doing today? Hope all's well on your end of the monitor. We were fiddling with cargo earlier, and now I am doing a quick demo as to vehicle carrying capacity. Because heck, I haven't had a chance to do this since, well, on stream at any rate, since I had picked it up, because we had Invictus rolling around, and I had my ERT licensing, and then finally, Alien Week got in the way. Yeah, Cap wanted to do criminal stuff, but he's gone silence. Well, he's probably, hip deep in trying to ensure that he's not killed off. I have Cap in party right now. Like I said, last time I saw he was in the security depot on... I shouldn't go into too much detail just in case they're watching the server. On the other hand, his marker is probably very blatant. Okay, the next largest vehicle we have to play with is the Ursa Rover. So let me grab the Rover. Again, I have no tank, so I can't really fill it up. But I think that throwing the Rover on there will be more than sufficient for my purposes. I'd had the Ursa in my Carrack, but bad things happened to my Carrack, so Ursa became available again. Let's close up the door, because driving with that door open is an exercise in frustration. The Ursa is basically well, more or less a troop transport. You can see the 4 seats behind me, plus the 2 seats up front. And it does have working weapons, although, as you may have guessed, I can't actually use them in an armistice zone. But that's okay. That's okay. Oh, a little too much juice on this thing. I need better speed control. Because I'm going way too fast on this thing. I'm going way too fast.
Thank you. Please visit again.
I need better throttle control. And we are going to bring this guy up the ramp. And park here. Now, as you can see just from this, I could probably put 2 Rovers side by side in here with very little problem. Legend needs to run to New Babbage. You did the upgrade, huh? You went with the M2 Hercules. I got your loaner C2. I gotcha. Because you have a loaner C2. Okay. Yeah, I thought about the whole M2 thing, but if I'm going to be doing the cargo hauling stuff, I feel like I might as well be pure about it as far as civilian kind of thing. Let's turn off the power on the vehicle and step outside. We'll go out the back door. Lots of room available left. If other people could load on their Ursas, or they could load in a bunch of Cyclones with their own weaponry, they can put in a huge amount of hover bikes. If you want to go crazy, you could fit something like, I don't know, 80 Grey Cat buggies down here. Multiple Grey Cat rocks. I mean, you have plenty of options to play with here. But again, from a personal point of view, you can only spawn 3 vehicles at a time. So this is best left for if you're helping out an org or a bunch of other people who need to have something transported. This would be how you could do it. Because if everybody spawned in 2 vehicles, they would certainly help fill you up pretty quickly. Long term, using the Cat for cargo. Good lord, why would you want to use a Drake ship anyway? M2 would be a battle lander. Yeah, good choice for that. That is what the M2 is designed to do. So, I've picked up my handy ships here. What should I do with them? Well, let's see. I could go to... Well, obviously I'm going to go somewhere. I mean, what is the point of loading them into a ship like this if there is no purpose to it? Fie, I say. Fie! When was the last time you heard someone use this phrase like that during a stream? Fie, I say! we will take them out
On.
and put them to use, kind of. Step one is, of course,
Complete.
leaving the moon. Well, leaving the planet. I have moons on my mind because the moon is where I'm going to
Landing
go.
gear up.
Again, I need to be roughly 9 kilometers up from here before I can use the quantum drive. Let's pull it out. Let's see. Cap's marker is... hasn't moved any. Either he has a whole lot of crimes to clear out, which I find hard to believe in the limited amount of time he's been on, or unless he's been a really, really bad person. I can't rule that out. Let's go to HPMS Bezdek. Although I am telling a little bit of a lie there. I'm not actually going to go to Bezdek. I plan to stop well short of it. So, anytime now, 300, 200, 100, I am free and clear to go. Spin up that quantum drive. Gotta stop at an orbital marker first. I did upgrade the quantum drive on this ship, so it's not as slow to spool up,
Engage. Quantum travel complete.
and it moves substantially faster. Quantum drive cooldown's a lot longer though, but you know, hey, occupational hazard. It's only CS3. Well, you know, CS3 does get you on the bounty board, so...
Quantum travel engage.
Although I suppose I could double check to prove that. Let me see. Contracts. Bounty hunter. Suspect apprehension.
Quantum travel complete.
Nope. I don't have cap on my license. I was considering the possibility of, oh gee, cap had chat turned off due to global. Yeah. I know how that goes. Oh, no wonder he's cleared himself out. Alright, let's go down to Bezdek. Or, to be more precise, close to Bezdek.
Quantum travel engage.
Yeah, he must have cleared. Yeah, you're right, because he's in party chat, right? Well, he's in the writer's chat, and he's indicating that, yep, I'm good. Apparently the global chat was being global chat, let's put it that way. I get that.
Quantum travel complete.
Alright. Nope. Didn't want to do that, I want to do this. Set room. Now what I'm going to do is something a little more unusual. I'm going to drop myself down well short of Bezdek. Let's have the landing gear down. And the goal here is to find a relatively flat place to land. That may be more challenging than it sounds. Where's my comlink? Bam. Okay, that takes care of that. As you can see, it's kind of rocky, but there are at least some areas that look like they're doable. Level out, level out. And down. Let's twist around, make sure everything's good. And we'll kill the engine.
Engines off.
And actually we'll kill the rest of the power
Systems
too.
off.
Now, you may have a pretty good idea of what I'm planning here, just by the fact that I'm landing well short of Bezdek in a ship capable of carrying ballistas. That's right. I'm going to take out the ballista, and we're going to kind of drive near Bezdek, but not too close to Bezdek. And we're going to see if I can scare the hell out of people. I am a horrible, horrible person. I will probably not actually shoot anybody because I'm too soft-hearted. Plus, I'm not a jerk. But having the capability of doing a thing, well, it's always nice to see what I'm capable of doing. Now, the good news is, even if the ramp is off the ground, I'm not horribly worried because I do have the elevator to work with. So, I do not have to worry, like I do on many ships that have ramps. I don't have to worry about being trapped outside. Activate engines. Whoa, what was that? Okay, so as you can see, the front ramp is well up over the ground. If I wanted to reload this thing, I'd have to go in through the back. That's okay, though, because I really don't expect to reload this thing. So here I am, middle of nowhere. And I can see a marker up ahead there. Let's make sure I don't go into a ravine. Now, the ballista does have a lot of wheels, so it can actually go through some of these obstacles pretty well. If I tried to do this on a Ursa rover, I would be in a bad place. Okay, let's stop here and I'm going to get out of the seat here. And you'll notice that we have this chair in the back here. Yes, this is the gunner's seat. I'm going to power it on. And enter the remote turret. Now, as you can see, this remote turret has... Do I want to try to shoot... want to try and shoot me down? Yeah, well, you know what? I am willing to try, yes. Let's see, do I have the capability of... No, I don't have the capability of choosing my missiles, unfortunately, so I'm more or less kind of committed to whatever I have. However this works ordinarily. Now, I can do targeting. For example, I could. I shouldn't. I really shouldn't. Nah. As entertaining as that thought is. Let's see, how do I kill my targeting again? Well, I imagine I can get rid of the remote targeting just by exiting the remote turret. Oh, yeah, I was having trouble with elevators earlier today. I was over at Lorville, And I had black holes where the elevators were. What was this? There's the cap, 50 some kilometers away. The elevators were hosed. They didn't even have the panels on the elevators. I was getting ready to run right through the empty space just to see what happened when they finally spawned back in. All I can tell Legend is, of course, if your screen is frozen, I don't have an answer to that. I wonder if a 30K is rolling in. I hope not, but you know, stuff happens, you know. There you go. Yeah, problem there. Panel is blank. Yep, that's exactly what I was encountering earlier in stream. I was there at the spaceport. I have black holes where the doors were that I could see through sometimes. I had missing panels. And I'm just kind of standing there staring at them going, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So, you know, weird stuff happens. Hey, such is the way of things. Let's see. This is the front, and oh, what's this? That's not what I expected. I thought I was seeing the targeting for something like one of the carts or something, but someone has actually parked a Starfarer over there. Okay, I can do a scan. Empty seat. Okay. No cargo in there, which makes it very strange. But I could target him and fire off some missiles in his direction. I'm not going to do it. I'm not pulling any triggers. I'm being the good guy. Back to targeting my ship. Oh, he's almost there. Notice I gotta start looking for Cap. No, that's Legend's marker. There's Cap's marker. Oh, he's over the horizon. Ah, your elevators showed up. Excellent. Yeah, it took a while for mine to show up too, but they did show up. Yeah, this server may be getting close to its ugly point. 15 kilometers? What is the range on these things? Let's find out. 10 kilometers? I still can't target him. 8 kilometers? Oh, for heaven's sake. Seriously? I was able to target one guy like 16 kilometers away, and I can't target Cap. I am disappointed. 5 kilometers, and I still can't target him, for heaven's sake. By now, Cap could be chucking missiles at me, but God knows. There we go, finally. I tell you, sometimes this game makes it hard sometimes. Well, apparently their seeking capability is iffy. And apparently my minimum range is available. Flying an arrow, it looks like, so he's got maneuverability to spare. I guess I can't target me anymore. Well, something got hit, but I don't know if it was him or my C2. I have no shame in targeting my own ship. Well, he's still moving, so clearly he's still alive. Unfortunately, I think I may be out of missiles. And for all of that, I've gotten a crime stat of exactly 1. Well, let's see. Do I have... Yes. Up, but I got the big bump in the back. Up, and the marker seems to have shifted back up in the sky. Oh, I did get you. You mean I blew you up and I got it? Oh, of course we have the other thing. I didn't duck behind the C2 in time. Well, now that we've indulged in this bit of ultra-violence, shall we say, let's see what my C2 looks like, because I'm pretty sure I whacked it at one point, because, you know, I have a crime stat. Minor though it may be. Well, I think I might have gotten the crime stat because I might have hit my C2. Strangely enough, you can get crime stat by shooting your own vehicles. Although I will tell you momentarily the exact charge. Well, you know, C2 looks like it's in great shape, so maybe I didn't get C2. Oh yeah, there's no way I'm getting this thing back on. Too many... Well, I might be able to do it. Okay, let's go back here, bring up my Mobi-Glass, let's take a look at the journal, which will tell me, and there are many times where people complain that, hey, I have crime stat, I have no idea why. Why did I get crime stat? Wah. Well, this is how you find out how you got crime stat. You go to your journal, you go to criminal record, and I can see that I have my crime stat 1 because I committed aggravated criminal damage. Ooh. So that is why I have crime stat 1. So my next... Now this means I am no longer able to use safely, shall we say, the more legitimate space stations for repair, docking, refuel. Once upon a time I could go to Levski, but Levski is sadly no longer with us. Don't have enough oomph to get over that rock. At least not that way. I never planned to bring it back anyway, so we'll just abandon it here. I got what I wanted out of all this. It's good that Cap was willing to volunteer for that, because I was this close to just targeting my C2 for the laugh. I've done things like that before. I will probably do it again. In fact, when I was testing the size 5 guns on the Nova tank, it was my Hercules that was my target. Bye-bye, Ballista. Oh. I think I did hit the ship, because, you know, I've got the red lights on in here. So my missiles must have whacked the ship at some point, because I've got damage state happening. Look at all those red lights. You know, and now I'm tempted to do something else. I mean, the way I see it, the Ballista did some bad things. It whacked my Hercules. That was mean. It was wrong. Don't you think there should be some payback? Oh, wrong button. Getting back out of my seat. Clearly, the Ballista must pay for its crimes. Power everything on.
Crusader Industries, a journey worth taking. Systems on.
Oh,
Launch
stuff.
complete.
Oh, right. I didn't close the doors, did I? Where's my, Somewhere I have the buttons that control my exterior. There we are. Okay, now where is the ballista exactly? Right there. So we're gonna scoot up a little bit, and then we're gonna pitch up a little bit. Perfect. Now hopefully the engines and everything will stay put while I do this. Since Legend brought up insurance fraud. We're going to enter the co-pilot seat. Power on the... Okay, enter the remote turret, I think. Well, can I use that here? No, I got power on first. Okay, I kind of figured I had to, but I just have to figure out where the button is. Surely there is a power on button on the co-pilot side. There we go.
Crusader Industries, a journey worth taking.
Now,
Systems on.
remote turret time. Where'd that ballista go? Oh, that was entertaining. I am easily amused. Now, I could have sworn that a moment ago... Okay. I think I've gotten what I wanted out of this. Now, something I've noticed recently is I seem to have this light issue here. You see, I don't know, I think you should be able to see this. All these concentric circles, like reflection almost. And I've been seeing this kind of thing a lot lately, and I don't know if it's a problem with my graphics card, or if it's a problem with the game, or if it's something else. Just for giggles. Let's take off the helmet. No, same thing. It doesn't move with my head, but it does move with my body. Talking server hop, but I am not quite there yet. My hull is at 47%. Oh, I must have gotten it pretty good with a couple missiles. Oh, speaking of such things, looks like Cap has decided to come back for revenge.
Contact.
Two can play that game. Let's get some mobility going here. Now, the big disadvantage of the Hercules, as Cap is demonstrating right now, is the fact that if you're fighting, if someone in a fighter is coming by to shoot you, you aren't going to be able to do much about him unless he's right in front of you. Or if you have a co-pilot who can operate the rear turret. Speaking of such things, let's get the VTOL and landing gear up. Although, if you want to get really crazy, you could lower the back ramp or the front ramp, and someone could jump on that Ursa rover and open fire as well. So you could, technically speaking, have a lot more ammunition than one might actually think. But, you know, that's crazy talk. Let's see. Since I'm up, let's see. Can I actually see any of the actual damage caused by the missiles? You know, it says I'm at 47% scanned health, but I still look the picture of perfect health when I look at my ship. I don't see any missile damage. I don't see any blackened scars or anything like that. It looks in pristine condition. So clearly the wear and tear isn't working. Throw a Nova in the back. Yeah. Hi, have a size 5 gun shooting at you. That said, size 5 is really only going to... I didn't see that. Didn't see that. So the remote turret must actually be 2 remote turrets. Since I have a criminal status, let's see if I actually have personal missions available now. No, it was worth a shot. Oh, decisions. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Since we have criminal status, it feels appropriate to go land in a place where criminals like to gather. Grim Hex. Which, of course, I can't go to directly. And you know what? Actually, Grim Hex is a horrible, horrible idea. Because I'll be skirting a little too close to Crusader. And if you're skirting too close to Crusader, vehicles tend to explode inside of ships. And I still have that rover in the back end there, so... I will instead choose a different plan. We'll go to Crew L3 and annoy the people there. They will, of course, open fire on me, but I just might be able to land there. You know, this is a good example of just how sometimes the stream does not go as I might have expected it to. Want to hack CS real quick? No, I kind of want to see what'll happen here. I'm all about the mad science. Well, at least the mad part about the science. Besides, on the other hand, there's always another hand. I wouldn't have to worry about the turrets because I could land short of the turret range, pop in the rover, and drive there. You know what?
Quantum travel complete. Contact.
Maybe that's the way to go after all. Yeah, let's do this. Boink. If for no other reason than the fact that I'm not afraid of any turrets. Plenty of other things to be afraid of.
Quantum travel engaged.
I'm really disappointed. I really expected to see a lot more damage on the ship. I mean, when I shot at it with the tank, I at least had, you know, dents and holes. But apparently exploding missiles just wash off like the water on the back of a duck. Boy, I mangled that, didn't I?
Quantum travel complete. Contact.
Well, I'm hoping those contacts are the vehicles I have back there, not, you know, someone coming to kill me. I mean, there's not going to be anybody coming to kill me.
Engaged.
I don't know if I have if I have those shields on here. I don't think I do. I don't think I went to that kind of effort. But it's easy enough to double check myself. Dum. Nope, I'm still using the standard toys. But that's okay because I was never going to be landing my ship near there.
Quantum travel complete. Contact.
Not when I have other options available. Let's bring up the marker again because I do want to know where it is. Hello, computer. Okay, that did not work the way it was supposed to. Where is the set route? There we go. is nice and pitch black outside. I'll activate my quantum drive just so I can get an idea of distance, because I only want to get so close. I have my headlamps on, so to speak, so I should be able to see the ground well in advance of actually hitting the ground. And my hope is that I can find somewhere, again, relatively flat to land. Oh, that's not looking flat, is it? You know, the strategy looked good on paper, didn't it? I got all this debris down here. You see, if Hurston were more environmentally conscious, this would not be a problem. Up, and now they're firing, which means I'm too close. Grumble, grumble, grumble.
Attack on shields.
Let's put my shields on my front here, because I kind of want to see what's happening to them. Come on, just give me one area that's relatively flat. I don't really ask for much. Preferably without all these sticks in the way. Oh, they are not making it easy. Alright. Fine. Didn't want to do it this way, but if they're going to do it this way, fine. I've got ballistics on this thing. And it's a big ship, which means it has big shields. I was going to do this a nice and polite way, the clever way. I was going to land on something flat and have the Ursa come out and do it. But no, it wouldn't cooperate, would it? So now we're going to do this the other way.
Attack on shields.
Yeah, you boys do that. Oh, lag, lag, lag. Maybe I need some height. Oh, there he is. Die, horrible turret. This is not working out. These guys, I should be hitting these guys pretty good. Let's get the other one over here. He's being annoying.
Attack on shields.
You know, I think my big problem here is... My big problem is I think my guns are too far apart. And those guys are too skinny. Well, you know what? For as much damage as they're doing to my shields, or more accurately, as much damage as they're not doing to my shields,
Landing gear down.
yeah, it's not really working out well. Whatever.
Attack on
Ah, what did I just land on? More of those spines. Grrr. This may well be the craziest approach I've ever done at a security depot. Change convergence setting distance and settings is way too high by default. Yeah, that sounds about right. We're just gonna leave the engines and everything on. I may regret that later. And we will let the turrets continue to futilely shoot at me. While I'm here, let's take care of other important detail. If you're going to go with hacking a crime stat, you should always make sure to have an ice pick. And while I'm at it, let's put the helmet back on too. All right. Call the elevator. We're not even going to bother with the ramp. We're just going to take the elevator. I would also take the opportunity to point out that all that weapons fire that's going on right now, or it was, I guess they finally gave up because they weren't actually doing anything. Maybe I did do a little bit of damage. I see smoke coming out of that turret. It's a safe bet, however, that any security people, they're probably still inside. So, time to add to my crime stat. I mean, I suppose I could try running, but med pens don't seem to be working anymore, so I'll feel better if my problems literally go away. And there we are. Well, time to be bad. Oh, well, I'm dead now. Med pens don't work, so... Oh my god, it actually did work. How the hell did that happen? Okay, who's shooting me and where? Oh, there we are. Oh. Okay. Oh, so much for that. Well, as usual, when I listen to Cap's advice, I end up in Klesher. Klesher Rehabilitation, otherwise known as the place you go when you've been bad. I admit I went in a little overconfident there. If I'd been smart, I would have taken the sniper rifle with the veil suppressor, not the tassel suppressor. Get some quiet kills, and I wouldn't have had to worry about being shot so quickly. Yeah, spoke too soon. Yes. So here we are in Aberdeen. Slowly loading. I can hear things, but I don't see anything yet. Just have the black screen with the note about being in Klesher. Is anything actually happening? Oh, this could be a bad sign. Oh, nope, something's happening. Okay. I don't feel so bad now. Entity list is moving. Kind of. Somewhat. Guards letting me stream from prison? They must be getting soft. Well, you know, they seem to have cut off my camera because, you know, everything's black here. I mean, come on, guys. How long does it take for me to load into prison? Maybe that was a poor question to ask. Okay, there's definitely stuff happening here, so I should be coming in any time now. See y'all. Oh, there's that famous noise. And here we are. Homicide, assaulting security personnel. After all of that, it's time to do hard time. Welcome to Klesher Rehabilitation. And it certainly looks like a pleasant place to be, doesn't it? Whee! How long is my sentence for all those horrible things I've done? Oh, that's a poor sign. I can't use the term. Ah, there we go. 7.5 hours in jail. Well, you know, bad things happen to bad people. And I was bad. So, this feels like a perfect time to wrap the stream up. I hope you've enjoyed this stream. We had a little bit of cargo running, did a little demonstration of the ability of the C2 Hercules to carry vehicles, had a little bit of fun with the Anvil Ballista outside of a mining outpost, which inevitably led me here. Now, once again, programming note, I will not be streaming next Saturday, or nearly I would be doing the. You refuse to have enjoyed the stream. Curse your defiance! I will not be streaming next Saturday due to a number of real-life details that will be occupying me literally all day. So I may do a stream on Sunday. I may not. We'll see how things fly on that. Thank you both. I will still, however, be streaming on Wednesday evening. I will be streaming Star Trek Online, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern to approximately 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Until then, I hope you enjoyed watching, whether you were watching it live or on video on demand, either here or on YouTube. I thank everybody for stopping by, saying hello. Hope to see you next time. This is Korath Landwalker, signing off.